On this video, we'll give you 6 sneaky waiver wire ads that you can pick up and add to your roster heading into Week 9. I'm Alan Seslowsky, along with Jeff Erickson of RotoWire.com. Jeff, 6 teams are on bye in Week 9. Fantasy players are going to dig a little bit and sort through some players that we might normally not start. We won't be able to use any players on the Cowboys, the Browns, the Broncos, the Giants, the Steelers, and the 49ers. So who's going to be your first sneaky ad heading into Week 9?
Well, let's go to Baltimore, talk Baltimore pass catchers. When we lost Baltimore on Thursday night, Mark Andrews got hurt early. Rashad Bateman got hurt early. Both were dealing with nagging injuries all along anyhow. We'll mention DeMarcus Robinson, formerly of the Chiefs, 0% rostered. He is available everywhere on Yahoo. It feels gross, but, you know, it's Mr. Right now. He's got a game on the road Monday night against the Saints. Obviously, check to see what the Ravens do before Tuesday's trade deadline, see if they add a receiver, see the status on Bateman. But I like him. I like Isaiah Likely, who's only 5% rostered. And you know how hard it is to dig in the corners and fight a tight end. So he had 6 catches for 77 yards and a toe tap touchdown. He's a receiver in tight end clothing. And if all else fails, you can also go back to the Drake, 31% rostered. If Gus Edwards doesn't play because of the hammy, Drake is a perfectly viable option.
I always think the teams that play on Thursday make for perfect sneaky ads because people do forget about them as they get caught up in the Sunday and, of course, the Monday action. Jeff, what if I told you there's a running back who has had 16 rush attempts in 2 of his last 3 games and is on a run-first team and is only 5% rostered? Yes, this does exist.
Where do I go to get him, Alan? Please tell me more.
The Atlanta Falcons, Caleb Huntley. Huntley was a slow, undrafted runner in 2021, 5th percentile speed score. When you pick up Huntley, you're not adding a dynamic playmaker, but rather a trusted player who's going to get some projected volumes. Okay, Caleb Huntley had 91 yards rushing in Week 8 and was extremely efficient, nearly 5.7 yards per carry. His teammate, Tyler Algier, got the TD on a screenplay, and Cordell Patterson is coming back. But now Huntley is the non-sexy name that you can pick up and start in a pinch in a bye week that has 6 teams. Who's your next sneaky ad?
Mike Williams is out at least 4 weeks. Joshua Palmer will probably be back from that concussion. Who knows what they're going to get out of Keenan Allen? Why not take a look at DeAndre Carter? 5% rostered. Got a decent amount of use in the game against the Seahawks, 7 targets in that game. Yeah, there's a lot of ifs here. I mean, you got to watch to see at the Chargers what they do at the trade deadline, if anything. You got to find out about Allen. But I think Carter's a guy that is a little interesting. Atlanta has banged up corners. They're susceptible to the Hail Mary plays. Carter is an interesting, if you're desperate, say if you got CeeDee Lamb, you've got Debo, you've got Ayuk, you got one of the 3 Pittsburgh receivers. This is a good week to go ahead and speculate on a wide receiver there.
Carter is the definition of a sneaky ad because he's not sexy. He's going to get 8 to 10 projectable targets just given the opportunity, right? I mean, that is his upside there. Maybe his floor is 5 targets, and nobody's going to be bidding heavy on him. So in a bye week crunch, that's exactly what we'd make this video for. I'm going to go back to Jameson Williams, who is going to be back in November, and it may be tough to roster him during the bye weeks, the rookie wide receiver on the Lions, but if you're 5-3, if you're 6-2, you need to make room for him. The Lions are 7th in passing yards, and Jared Goff is 5th in deep ball attempts this year, which fits well with what JMO does well, right? Jameson Williams was the #1 deep threat in college football last year. Try to make room for him on your roster this week.
And while we're playing the speculation game, don't forget about Kyren Williams on the Rams.
It wasn't too long ago that Kyren Williams was considered the 3rd best running back in this class behind Breece Hall and Ken Walker. Tested poorly, dropped down the rankings. Let's see him play on an NFL field.
43% rostered, Evan Engram at tight end. Hey, there's 6 teams on bye. You might have Pat Freiermuth. You might have George Kittle. Evan Engram is getting a lot of targets. He got the first touchdown for the Jaguars in the London game. He's been better after the first couple weeks of the season. He still does bad drops. Had one of those against the Broncos. Unlike most teams, the Jaguars aren't taking the bye after a London game. It's interesting. They got a home game this week.
I like that he now has a projectable floor of targets, and what more can you ask for with the tight end position? Treylon Burks, the rookie wide receiver on the Titans, is coming back soon, and the Titans need him. The Titans are 29th in passing yards per game. Burks' usage was trending up a little bit before his injury, and Burks played, I believe it was close to 96% of the passing plays in week 3. Though he's disappointed relative to his expectations, Jeff, he's still a player that the Titans want to work out. They traded away the right to extend A.J. Brown for Treylon Burks. Get him on your roster before the buzz of his return starts. If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting the like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when we add new videos every day. And if you want to get a peek behind RotoWire's paywall for free, we are offering a 2-day trial by going to rotowire.com/try. Just put in your email and the paywall unlocks. And a programming note, you can hear Jeff Erickson along with Nick Whalen on SiriusXM Radio Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Fantasy Sports Channel 87. And every Sunday at 9 a.m., I join Jim Coventry on the Fantasy Sports Channel on SiriusXM, where we get you ready with all the overnight injury news so you can set your fantasy lineup